Today I want to talk about a software package that can help you in your statistical analysis. You're doing a research or you have a need to analyze your data. I have used it several times and I found it to be very useful. So I decided to do a short video on the package itself. I know many people might have known this, but at least I will be able to show you around before I now do a sampling or a sample of how you can use SPSS. So the package I'm talking about is the IBM SPSS, formerly just known as SPSS. I think it was launched in 1968, but in 2009, if I'm correct, IBM purchased this software and it became IBM SPSS maybe around from 2015. Okay, so IBM SPSS stands for, the SPSS stands for Statistical Package for the Social Sciences. So if you have data you want to analyze within social sciences, this is a very good package. So looking at the screen, you see we have various, if you look at the bottom here, you have data view, then you have variable view. These are the two views you will have here. Just like in a spreadsheet you have two tabs, different tabs. So let's call this one the data view tab. Here the data you load into this package will show up here, and the nature of the variables for the data will show up here. The name of the data, the type of data, the weight, if it's decimal value, then measure whether it's nominal, ordinal, and maybe scale, whatever type of data it is will show up here. So there are so many things you can do when you're going to analyze. You see, you have power analysis to do a lot of things. From mean, you can do one sample t-test, paired sample t-test, independent sample t-test, one-way ANOVA. You know, one-way ANOVA is one-way analysis of variance. So you can do proportion, correlation. There's a person product moment and a Spearman rank order. You have a partial. Then you can do regression, univariate. Yeah. And if you want to, you can also go here for regression. You have your automatic linear modeling. You have linear, and probably in our example today we will do linear regression. Then you have classify. So two-step cluster, discriminant analysis. You can do discriminant analysis here. Where did I say under classify? So then multiple response. If you want to define your variable sets, simulation, quality control, and even here within this you can look for missing value. You can replace missing value. There are so many things you can do with IBM SPSS. You can plot graphs, and you have a lot. Let's just look around. Okay, so now what I will do now, okay, let's go back to variable. By the time we load data into this, you begin to see how this package works. So I have a spreadsheet ready this is just an example, and it's not a real life survey. It's just a prototype, just to show how it is. The question we want to answer in this, let me call it, I don't want to call it a survey because, okay, let's assume the example survey. Yes, in this example survey is we want to screen out employees who are maybe professionals who have not been on the same job for the past 2 years. That's the first thing. So we're going to ask 3 questions. I will explain this table to you. The respondent ID shows the ID of the respondents, which is very straightforward and self-explanatory. So from row 2 to 21, giving us 20 respondents. Then the question under security awareness info is to show whether that respondent have attended a security awareness training within the last 2 years on sponsored by his or her job. That is that. Then so we have yes or no. Then we have different industries. So each of them will come from at least one, will come from one industry, cannot be from 2. The reason why it will not be from 2 is that we have asked a question, a screening question, which is, have you changed job in the last 2 years? So if a respondent says yes to that, that respondent is automatically screened out. So those ones are screened out and they are not featured in this response you have on this spreadsheet. So those ones are already screened out. For those that responded no, those are the ones that qualify. So the qualifying question has been set as the determinant to show, to see whether the respondent's response will feature in this data. Then the first question is, in the last 2 years, have you attended or been sponsored for security awareness training by your employer? Yes or no? So if you have yes, those are the ones that the employer have sponsored for security awareness training. If you say no, in the last 2 years, the employer has not sponsored that respondent for any security awareness training, and we have no for that. Then what industry do you work, or what industry best describe your job? So we have banking, we have manufacturing, we have healthcare, and we have retail industry. So it means respondent A have attended security and awareness training within the past 2 years, and he or she works in the banking industry. Same thing happens to respondent B, but respondent C have attended security awareness training within the past 2 years, but works in manufacturing. So that's how the response goes. So I think you understand the data we want to work with now. Okay, now the next thing is for you to be able to use SPSS, you need to code. You cannot load this into SPSS and run it direct like that. You have to code your answers, the response from the respondents. You have to code it into 1, 0, 2. You have to use numeric value. So because of that, what we do is we would change all the yes to 1, and we will change no to 0. So to do that, just highlight this and go to find and replace. So find and select rather, then click on replace. Now let's first do yes. All our yes, we replace it with 1. So make sure that you have all this predetermined if you are doing something like this, because if you have different variables you want to work with and you need to transform them to different codes like that, if you don't have it written down and follow it, you may transform yes into 1, and by the time you want to analyze your data, you may begin to ask yourself, did I transform yes into 1 or did I transform no into 1? So you need to have it written down so that you will not make mistake. So our yes is 1. So we replace all. See, all done. We made 34 replacements. Now let's replace no with 0. Okay, we replace all. Okay, so that one has done its part. Now we have coded the responses. Now let me see. We can import this into SPSS now, and what we do is, okay, please give me a second, let me see why we have okay. So we want to, let's go back to SPSS, and when you open your SPSS, this portion will open, which is your working area, which has 2 tabs, the data view and variable view, as mentioned earlier. Then you have your display section where your results will be displayed. Okay, so we go back to upload, to just go to file and click on import data and scroll to Excel. Since we have Excel, so I'm using test 1 and open. Okay, so you see here it says read variable names from first row of data. That is important that you leave it there so that you can have the variable names. If you unmark this, the response will come, but the variable names like response ID, respondent ID rather, security, awareness, info, banking, and so on and so forth will not show in this table in the SPSS. So you need to make sure that that is checked. Okay. So say ignore hidden rows and stuff. Remove leading space. Leave those ones. Those. Okay. So we have populated SPSS with our data. You can just open this out. Okay. Now let's go to variable view and see the variable